there's an old saying that the warriors, the if you're a warrior in the world, you're gonna go crazy, right? But if you are a coward, right, you gonna go with it. So the people that go crazy in the world is the ones that are the true warriors, the ones that they can't deal with this, they can't accept it. Some people they can accept it, they can go with. And I've seen so many men lose their mind because they can't accept the way that the world is. You know what I'm saying? They like, there's no way that I'm supposed to just abide by these rules when I know it's a fake standard of reality. And this is the problem that we've been dealing with for a very long time. We just want us to thrive in this. I live in a world where I've been pushing the standard for a minute. And no matter what, and this is why people ask me, was that a white man? It really don't matter because, I've been doing this for a minute. Whether, ain't no black man ever gave me anything for free. Not major. Ain't nobody just put me on and I ain't got no funding for nobody. I ain't got no sponsors for nobody. It don't work like that. What I've learned is that my optimistic mindset is super positive. You feel me? But the problem is that you become a bit of a pessimist when 99% of the people you run into bullshit. And our culture has turned into such capitalists that our community mind works against us. Because we want to do stuff for our people. We want to be community-based, right? But you realize, man, it don't work like that. We end up fighting each other. We end up tearing each other down. We end up, because our attitude towards ourselves is projected onto our brothers and sisters. And instead of having belief that this person is good or we can help them be great and contribute to them, we want to say that they not enough. They not good enough. We want to tear them down. So, man, I think about what my platform represents for people when I meet them and, speak to them. But we are such a coward society. Most people will never help you be greater than where you are. People go tell you, in our culture, we just watch each other. We don't help each other. You know what I'm saying? I'll be having to see lesser men all day long, right, get awarded and get accredited and to get funding and get assistance. But we don't never want to help the strong. Nah. You know what I mean? Because there's a mirror that we have to face with ourselves when we help somebody do something greater than what we're doing, because then we have to realize, damn, how come I'm not doing the same thing? And you don't want the world to compare you to somebody greater. So you would rather they just stop. You would rather they didn't exist, really. You might respect it, but you don't want to empower it, because then that becomes a standard that you can't live up. So we lost that spirit, you feel me, of how do we raise, the right ones in the culture? How do we push the right ones forward? We've lost that spirit. So that's why it's so tough, because when you got the right heart, it has to be aligned with the right mind of understanding, right, how to move in the times that we're living in. You know what I'm saying? And the proper standard of how to move in the times, you have to be very strategic on how you go about building. People may mock your process, but they love your results. You feel me? People will mock your process, but they love your results. In our culture, we love success. Person can be a drug dealer, it could be this, that, and the third, but once they get to that money, man, we gonna say it was all worth it. There's a movie called The Spook Who Sat Beside the Door. I'm working on a project around that right now, and The Spook Who Sat Beside the Door is about the first black CIA intelligence officer. And it's one of the only movies, it's a black nationalist movie, it's one of the only movies that is from the black perspective completely without being watered down. And it was our take on what a revolution would look like, right? So this officer was in the CIA, and they gave him clearance, they gave him access, and he showed how he was able to maneuver, because they never believed that, he would be a threat or anything of that nature. And he was collecting information, he was collecting knowledge, he was utilizing his resources and his position the whole time to feed back into the network of the movement. And as he was feeding into the network, as he was working as a CIA operative, he was really learning. He was being a spook at his job. Right? And he took the information and he took the resources and he was training the brothers that was in the streets and using it for his people and for the movement. And eventually They took all that knowledge and it became a full-scale revolution. And I think about what does it mean to be that for what you do in life. Because some of you all may be spooks. Some of you all may be waiting to be activated. You don't realize that, the job, the talent, the skills, the network, the resources that you have and how they can be used to change the world. Right? And that's the beauty of it because, just like the guy just walked up and he say, hey, I do art direction, I do movies, I do it. He got skill sets now that can be useful, right, to my movement, to where we can take things to another level. But he didn't know that as he was growing those skills and developing them, that was going to be useful to someone such as myself and the people that he knows don't look at him as revolutionary. But you can become revolutionary overnight when you take those skill sets and those resources, right, and you push them towards something that's impactful in the world that's going to create and make mass change. So when I meet people around the world, I meet them in different positions. I meet them in corporate, right? It might be a security guard at the door. It may be somebody, whatever they are, and they be like, Keys, I see what you're doing, and I want to help assist. When they was going to college and they was doing, they wasn't saying I'm being revolutionary by this, but it's never too late to activate yourself. It's never too late to say, you know what, you're right. There is something I can do. There is a way I can help. I met brothers that work in corporate positions for large corporations. The corporation don't stand for my values, but they do. So they say I'm going to use my position to assist. So therefore, I've been afforded to get into places and be in positions that normally, not possible for somebody who holds such a radical standard. But that's what happens, you feel me, when you get activated and you realize that, the real purpose that you're there, right, is for something bigger than the paycheck. So regardless of what you're doing in your job, man, we can actually push the standard. We be so afraid to push the standard. The reason I respect my brothers at EYL and people I partner with is because they push the standard. Because when we're afraid to celebrate people, we're afraid to empower people, we're afraid to fund people, we're afraid to connect people, right? We create a standard. So the culture can't move past your fear. That's it. It don't have to be that way, but people be fearful. So the culture don't move past what you fear. It becomes this invisible line that we can't toe, not even realizing, it's like a lion being in a cage. And the cage door is open, but the lion's so used to being domesticated that he doesn't even try to leave. We don't even try it no more. We don't even try the revolutionary shit. We've been punished and beaten and forced into submission where we don't try the revolutionary act anymore. You don't even know how much rope you have. You don't even know how much freedom you have and how many things that you can do, right, and get away with now. So at this point in time, we have to push a standard, right? We have to see how far we can go, right? And that's the beauty of working with the right people and people that's unafraid. They're willing to take those risks. And if you're not willing to take those risks, then you got to stay a slave. Push the standard. Push it. See how far you can go with it. You know what I'm saying? You have to force them to assimilate to your standards, not the other way around. That's how you make change. I do it all the time. I force people to come to my standards, not theirs, because if I'm assimilating, right, then that means I'm giving up a part of myself so that I can have access to this social standard. No. Push the limit. You know what I'm saying? That's how things have changed historically in America. It just wasn't a natural, organic thing. It was always somebody pushing a standard. And it may seem small at first, but it becomes big later on. And then the more people do it, the more normal it becomes. So I don't think we understand how much power we have, right? And how much capability we have as far as the positions that we in to push new standards, to create new culture. So listen, I appreciate y'all locking in. High Level Club is starting soon. For all of those that want to be in the High Level Wealth Club, it's going to be very powerful. It's going to be the powerful thing that we created so far. Building wealth has to be a standard. Having your own tribe and community, right, should be a standard. Being able to live private outside of the public world should be a standard. Knowing how to move throughout this digital landscape, how to build your brands, how to build your businesses, having an active community where we doing hiking, we doing bonfires, we outside, we have our own spiritual movement. Like all of that should be a standard, because in this world we feel lost when we don't have a place that we can call to our own, that we connected in our values. And I'm talking about people of wealth and power and position. I'm not talking about, from a place of poverty. Like this is gonna be something that we create that's a higher level of status. And really realizing that goal of creating interconnected networks, right, that become economies. Because I look at influence as economy, because the more you scale, the more influence you have over economy, the direction in which people buy, right, and sell things. So once you get to a certain level and you have a certain infrastructure set up and depth of connection with your audience, right, you can build a community, and then you build a world for that community, and that influence that you have over that community is economy. And so you have to understand your power in today's time, because you have media, you have influence, you have community, and these things were not possible at other times. This is what we call cities, states, towns, right? This is what we call mayors and sheriffs and governors, right? These chiefs and leaders. So you have to understand, what does that look like in today's time, and you have that, but you just don't know how to put the systems and the science behind it so that you can organize what you have so that you can maximize it to the limit.